doctor for tonight's 30 days and 30 tips. I did have another topic prepared for you this evening, but instead, after a family day trip to a beautiful little old town just outside of Perth, I decided that something else was more important and I think that the video has started halfway through that, so if I can just repeat, I did have a different topic in mind to discuss this evening, but after a family day trip to a place a few hours away from Perth, I had a completely different idea of what I wanted to talk to you about this evening. The tip, I guess, will come towards the end, so just bear with me for a little bit. Today I went to a nice little old town just outside of Perth called York. York was the oldest inland European settlement in Western Australia, situated on the Avon River on Buladong Noongar land. It was first settled by Europeans in 1831 and a town established in 1835, and the first buildings erected in 1836. Many of those buildings are still in pristine condition and still standing today. In fact, most of the town is actually in all of those old buildings, the shops and the town hall. They're all on Instagram. You can see them all over Instagram. It's just a beautiful, beautiful place. Beautiful people. Customer service was amazing. And as I was walking through York, I was also taken aback by how everything was so welcoming and everything was still standing up. Like the buildings were just amazing, just in terms of architecture, but also in terms of these buildings are over 100 years old and they just look amazing still. There's no cracking, there's no walls falling down, no roofs caving in. Like they are in pristine condition, and the people of York have continued to allow York to shine in that way. It's also very popular for the Avon descent down the river. So this time of the year is a very busy time of the year for them. But it all got me thinking about why is it that so many years ago, when they were building all those beautiful old buildings, there were no training packages around. Um, how did they learn to build such beautiful buildings? How did they learn architecture? How did they learn to keep the crops? And there's some amazing canola fields out there at the moment in York. And I sit there and I look at it and I think, oh, how did they learn to keep those things? The people in the shops, they're all very antique type shops, and the customer service is amazing, but I'm sure none of them have even done any sort of retail training package qualification. Just absolutely amazing service. And then a little bit further down the road, we went and visited a Frenchman who has got an olive oil farm, and he also does ice cream, fresh ice cream. And I was thinking about that as I was walking in there, and I'm thinking, so how did this man know how to make olive oil, and how did he know how to make ice cream and gelato if there were no training packages around? How did he learn? What sort of training and assessment would he have had um, to be able to compress olive oil and manufacture it and package it for sale? And in terms of the ice cream, how did he learn how to make ice cream so that it was commercially viable and it met with all the food standards? Did he do a training package? Well, no, he didn't do any qualifications in that respect. And then I was talking to him about his weekends being the busiest time of the year for him, of the week. And he was saying to me, because I inquired about this lovely loaf of bread, and I was looking at it and I thought to myself, this lovely loaf of sourdough bread, this man never did any sort of cake or bread baking course. He's never done any manufacturing qualifications. He's never done any retail qualifications. He's never done any bread making qualifications. Um, so how did he learn? And how did he manage to come up with products and services? In fact, how did that whole township come up with products and services that are in dire need today, but people have to use training packages to enable them to get those skills and knowledge? Now, I can honestly tell you, we went to the one of the local pubs and we had a counter meal for lunch, and it was some of the best food that I've eaten in a very long time. But not only that, the customer service was amazing. The way they plate their meals and the way they look after the customer, and I just kept thinking to myself, this is all stuff that people have to do. Certificate 2, certificate 3 in hospitality, certificate 3 in commercial cookery. Like, where were these qualifications many years ago when they were establishing these towns? Where are they today? They don't go to TAFE to learn how to, well, the gentleman with the sourdough, he doesn't go to TAFE or any private RTO so that he can learn to make bread. It was something that he learned to do back home in France, and he's brought that skill with him. But he didn't do it through a training package. And those architects who design those buildings that are in York, how did they learn how to draw and build? There weren't qualifications around in the vet sector in the training packages at that particular time either. And so all of this got me thinking, are our training packages really necessary? And I know that we've been talking a lot lately in relation to resumption of training and working out what it is that you're passionate about, revising your financial viability and your business plan, and really thinking about what your passion is and whether or not this is something that you really want to continue, or is it time to develop an exit strategy after COVID and the difficulty that it is to operate in the vet sector today. And so it is in that context that I'm now asking you, is it really necessary for you to deliver a training package qualification or a training package course to enable you to part with the knowledge and skills that you want to give to the next generation? Why is it that we are so intent on using training packages when it's not always the best solution for what we're trying to achieve? And so tonight, I guess my tip to you on a very short Saturday night is, because I'm going to go and enjoy my sourdough for dinner. Um, my tip to you is to, in the context of that whole resumption of training, reviewing our business plans, reviewing our financial viability, do you actually need to use a training package to achieve your aims? Do you actually need to use nationally recognised training to be able to leave a legacy in the area that you wanted to? Now, I know that many people only use nationally recognised training and become an RTO so that they can get their RTO number so that they can apply for funding. But are there ways, and are there an audience, or are there audiences that are willing to pay for your services and your experience and your knowledge without having to issue a qualification from a training package? Is it really necessary? And I look at other little townships like this around the state and around the country, and I realise that York is no exception. There are plenty of places like York around Australia. I grew up in Victoria, and I remember Sovereign Hill. Sovereign Hill in Ballarat is a wonderful place where they still live and breathe the world that they used to live in yesteryear. And you can go and buy your boiled lollies, and you can get the old newspapers printed the way they used to. You can get dressed up in the old time fashion and get your photo taken, and you can go around and pretend to be a gendarme with the big rifles and everything. But do these people need training package qualifications to enable them to fulfill those roles? I don't believe they do. I think that sometimes we look for a qualification for reasons that are unnecessary, and that sometimes people should just trust the gift that they have, and that not everything is to be found in a training package. That's my tip for tonight. I'm going to go and enjoy my sour bread. I'll leave you with some links to York and Sovereign Hill because I've spoken about both of them. But if you can think of any other old places like that around, I'll leave a couple more as well. But if you can think of any others, please add them to the list, and please ask yourself, am I really needing to offer a training package qualification or course? Thank you and good night.